Welcome into another exciting episode here today, joined with Tony Tran. Tony Tran from Modus. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could come in.
Of course, anything for you.
I've got a list of questions. We're going to try and keep it on script as much as we can because you and I could get off script very easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a personal note, you're expecting a couple weeks out.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun times.
Yeah, I'm excited. Ready for this baby to come.
Tell me what it's been like here, with the pregnancy. Everything good?
Everything's been solid. My wife's been a rock star. She's been working like 6-7 days in a row every day or every week. And, she's no complaints. She comes home with back pain and take care of her then. But the other stories that I've heard of pregnancy, I've been lucky not to experience some of the things I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So
Good.
She's been awesome.
Good. Wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with business. Want to get into some of the stuff that I've been reading in the news, get your take on some of it. So let's just start. How's the market been for you? I'm hearing mixed things from different agents, people that are in the business, depending on where they are regionally, what they're focused on in terms of type of houses. How's business been like for you and Modus this year?
Business has been great for me and Modus. I am seeing a lot of agents out there, not just at my company, but at other companies. We collaborate with a lot of different agents, and some are definitely not having their years that they've had in previous years. I think when the multiple offer situations started coming, where appraisal coverage or bidding wars, that's when it became kind of easy for a lot of agents, and deals were happening very fast. There was more inventory. Now there's like no inventory. Plus with the NAR settlement, there's a lot of worry going on right now, and I think they're taking their focus away from the hard work back in the day 10 years ago to like door knocking, open houses, doing those type of things. And it's tough for the new agents to get into that habit when it was so easy just to go out and show houses or list a house and it was gone in 2 days.
Yeah.
Now we see houses that could be sitting for 30 days and people don't know what to do.
What is your advice for new agents in a market like this? Like if you've got a new agent coming on board at Modus, maybe they're new to the business. What do you tell them in a market like this that's, tougher than historically if they'd have gotten in when, things were easier, I guess?
I think the biggest thing for us is putting yourself out there. Mind share is like the number one thing. You guys do a great job with marketing and making sure that people know Hall Financial. So that's one of the main things for us is like doing social media is the number one thing. Doing video content, but also picking up open houses because that's like a free client coming in versus taking leads from a team or doing floor time in an office. You're already meeting that person up front. It's building that relationship with the client that's vital, but the mind share to me is the most important thing, where you got to make sure that people know you and they know what you're doing.
Yeah, for our viewers and listeners that aren't familiar with Modus, tell us a little bit about Modus and tell us about what you guys are focused on as a team.
So Modus was created in 2019 with my partners Mark Szymanski and Samantha Hillary. We ended up leaving a team and we just focused on kind of going off on our own, and then it just all kind of came together because the whole team atmosphere was what we loved, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Versus being an individual agent, it can be a lot tougher to be on your own and to learn on your own and to have that accountability. Like when you're on your own, who's holding you accountable?
Yeah.
The broker at your office isn't going to hold your hand, every week. They're busy taking care of the whole office. So having my partners, we hold each other accountable. We have our team that gets us excited to watch our new agents or brand new agents grow and have their first closing and get to their 10th closing and see them succeed and be able to buy the things that they want to do and have that financial freedom, make the money that they weren't ever expecting. But yeah, I don't know what else.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think that, what's interesting about you guys are a smaller team. You're not a huge team. How many people now are total on Modus?
So we have 17
now. Oh, 17.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
I was going to say
since
10.
Last time
okay,
we met.
good. Okay, gotcha.
I think we were at like 8
or
something.
Yep.
First time
That's
we created the team.
Yep.
But yeah, we're at 17.
And
now.
then what's the direction in terms of numbers, or are you guys not even focused on that?
I mean, we're focused on our individual numbers for that agent. So we make a plan. So when an agent comes in, we make a plan. What is your goal? What do you want to make per year? We're different from other teams where you have your freedom. We're not going to make you come in 9 to 5 every day, cold call, phone, scripts. We're not going to make you do that. We're going to give you a plan that works best for you and what your style is, because there's so many different styles that an agent can take. But that we kind of focus on what's your goal. If you want to sell 10 houses, 20 houses, let's make a plan to get you there. What are you best at? Are you best at social? Are you best at door knocking? Are you best at open houses? Like, we'll figure that out, and then we'll put a plan in place for them. And time management is a big thing too. So that we've been focusing a lot on what are you guys doing with your time? If we're not making you come in 9 to 5, what do you have on your calendar?
Yeah.
Putting those things in your calendar to stay focused is a huge thing, because as realtors, we can lose focus so easily. And just, if you're at home, a lot of agents are working from home nowadays since COVID.
Yeah.
People are losing focus nowadays. I go into these offices and there's probably like 10 people in all these offices, but there's a lot of agents. There's probably 300 agents in there, but there's maybe 10 to 30
They're all
agents
at home.
in there. Yeah, everyone's at home nowadays.
All right, our crack staff has got some questions for you here. Okay. I'm going to try and stick to the script. There's some good ones in here, too. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the most unique home you've ever sold, and why?
Probably not that I sold, but shown was probably the Motown Mansion. Just the craftsmanship on that house was remarkable. Okay. He also had another house like across the street or something that he shown, and it's just the woodwork, the carvings of the trim, the paneling. Just, you feel the history when you walk through there, and I think it's more not the look, but it's like the history of that house. It's probably the most unique house that I've been through.
What about a unique showing experience? You know, alligator in the basement. Like, I'm looking for something like that.
Okay.
Unique showing experience.
So weird, yeah, unique. I mean, I've run into dead animals in homes.
Okay.
Cats, dogs. Smells like that. It's the worst smell
Smells
you ever
like
smell.
dead cat and dog.
It's the worst smell ever.
Ever.
But yeah, we'll walk into that, and I've probably about 6-7 times I've ran into a house where dead dogs, dead cats. Couldn't find, half of the houses. You don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
But the agent has told me previously there's something dead in that house. You get nervous walking through that house because it's so bad. And I'm taking investors through it. They want to see it, right? And they're probably a little bit more used to it. But like my first 2 or 3 that I ran into, it was all in 1 year. Back in like 16, 17, and like Detroit houses. Oh my gosh, that smell was just brutal.
Okay,
brutal.
We got it. Yeah. We got it. How did Tony Tran get into real estate?
So it's funny. So I graduated with a sports management degree and ended up working with the Red Wings after college. Did that for about 2-3 years, and then got another job with Miller Coors, beer industry, did promotions. I was on site, so I was anywhere that you're allowed to drink. So I met a lot of people. So I built a big network of people. But then I kind of took a break because that burned me out. It was like a party job. It was just nonstop, going to the bars every night, taking care of the owners. I was out.
Yeah.
I think 1,500 bars a year per night.
Wow.
Yeah, for a whole year. I had to count them every day. So I got out of that for about a year, and then met my wife. She wanted to move out. We were dating. She wanted to move out and find an apartment. So I started, helping her find a place. We went searching, negotiate a little bit, and she's like, you should go sell real estate. And then, like, all of a sudden it clicked, because then I was like, you know what? I've moved 24 times in my life. And I remember riding in the back of a realtor's car, like, for years.
Yeah.
For years. Because our house caught on fire when I was 5, so we had to keep moving.
Wow.
So we had to keep moving to different places, but I remember it. So it was, like, already built into me as a kid.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And then it just clicked when she said that. I'm like, oh, my God, I should go do that.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got into it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing I'll get you out on this is the big NAR settlement everybody's talking about. What's it going to mean? I mean, in simple terms for our viewers and our listeners, I think a lot of people have said, like, well, it's not going to be a big deal. Nothing's going to be different. What will potentially be different the way you say it versus just business as usual, the way you see it? Excuse me.
So what's been good is that our company at Real Brokers, they've already implemented like those documents that were required already last year. Like when we first heard about it, they put in place where you need to have the buyer agency compensation document signed before you go out and show anyone. You have to bring it up. You have to have that conversation. Because a lot of times before I would go out for showings, I would show my value maybe the first 2-3 times with the buyer and take them to 2-3 houses each time just to show them my value, to earn their trust and their loyalty, to make sure that we're a good fit, to make them sign that contract. But now it's like I got to do that in the buyer consultation. I have to bring it up. So it's just, to me, it's an extra step. And I think because we've been prepped for it already with our brokerage, we're not scared of it. But I'm still hearing from agents that are just like, I am not going to tell my buyer they're going to have to pay me 3%. Like there's agents out there that are just not prepared for it.
Yeah.
And it's scary because it's like, okay, then what are you going to do?
Right.
But it also makes me happy because, like, if you don't want to do that, then bye-bye. You're out. Like, cool, let's weed out those agents that don't want to do the extra step because we're already having that conversation at the listing appointment. Why can't you do it with the buyer?
Well, isn't the school of thought that the listing agent is going to try to convince the seller to pay the whole 6, and then the 3 from the buyer is going to be null and void at the transaction?
Yeah, and that's a conversation with the seller that you're going to be at a competitive disadvantage if you're not offering, if your competition of other houses is offering it.
Right.
So it becomes a weird thing now too, where like I feel like agents that aren't good at communicating the whole process up front are going to kind of steer buyers away from certain houses because they see no compensation or 1%, or they're scared to call the listing agent and ask, is there compensation? Because it's not going to show on the MLS. Supposedly, it's not going to be on the MLS anymore. So you got to have that phone call to call the agent. And a lot of agents don't even call when they send you an offer. They just email you an offer and they don't even call you to try and build that rapport. Like, please take my offer. I'm a good agent. Like, inspection will go well. It'll be a pass fail. We won't nickel and dime you. It's those things that are going to weed out some agents, I think, for sure.
Well, we'll have you back on in August or September to talk about how it's going.
Yeah, it's a tricky subject right now because it's not fully settled yet. So they're still figuring it all out. So there's a lot of opinions out there right now, and I'm sure you've seen in like Facebook groups where just agents are just going ham on all of this stuff. So it's wild.
Hey, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Tony Tran, Modus Real Estate. We'll see you next time.